In this video, we are going to talk about best Castlevania games ever made. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for the future updates. Castlevania, one of the most enduring video game franchises, has recently experienced a comeback. On September 26, 1986, the original game was launched on the Famicom Disk System. Since then, approximately 40 games have been released for practically every major gaming system from the NES to the present. Thanks to Netflix, which released the first excellent video game adaptation, the property has even made it to television. The 4-episode first season was fantastic, and the second season was equally so. Given that there hasn't been a new Castlevania game in a few years, this is an intriguing development. Here's a list of the top 10 best Castlevania games ever made. Let's start. Number 10. Castlevania. Castlevania as a franchise would learn a lot of new tricks throughout the years, but it was always about the horror at its core. Although the original game was a traditional side-scroller, its gothic-themed adventure through Dracula's castle set it distinct from other similar platformers of the time. Simon Belmont, a vampire slayer, was directed through 6 levels that were outrageously difficult at points. His main weapon, a whip dubbed Vampire Killer, was a touch too accurate in its name, but it would go on to become a famous part of gaming history. Number 9. Castlevania Bloodlines. The only Castlevania game released for Sega's 16-bit console was Bloodlines. It tells the story of Elizabeth Bartley, a mythical vampire and Dracula's niece. Bartley emerges in the 20th century, determined to carry on her uncle's wicked heritage with the ultimate objective of resurrecting him. John Morris and his best friend Eric Lacarde take on Bartley and stop Dracula from rising again. This edition is remarkable for being the first in the series to take place outside of Dracula's castle. Bloodlines, in reality, takes players on a tour across Europe. In retrospect, the European link appears ironic, considering the game was highly banned for its PAL version. In Europe, Bloodlines was called the New Generation. The title screen's blood effects were replaced with water, and the hue of the zombies was altered from pink to green to make them appear less terrible. Despite the censorship, the game became a worldwide sensation. Number 8. Castlevania III. Dracula's Curse. Fans were not too enthusiastic about Simon's quest. Do you want me to go about collecting Dracula's body parts and resurrecting him so I may kill him again? Seriously? As a result, Konami chose to return to the basics with Castlevania III, removing most of Simon's quest's RPG and action-adventure aspects in favor of a return to the original game's platforming. Players assumed the role of Trevor Belmont and had the option of choosing one of 3 more characters to battle alongside him in the quest to destroy Dracula once more. Castlevania III was unique in that it offered numerous plot lines and endings depending on whatever partner Trevor joined him, an idea that felt novel and exciting at the time. Number 7. Castlevania Curse of Darkness. Curse of Darkness was far from perfect, yet its graphic design alone merits a place on this list. The beautiful levels and character designs were used as inspiration for a manga spin-off released by Tokyopop. The game takes place 3 years after Castlevania III. It features a new tale and protagonist, replacing the Belmonts with Hector, a devil forgemaster who once worked for Dracula. However, once the main game is completed, Trevor Belmont and his trusty whip become playable. Number 6. Castlevania Lords of Shadow. We're tempted to just say Hideo Kojima was a producer on this game and move on, but the entire development crew deserves credit for making Castlevania Lords of Shadow a fantastic game. Because Konami wanted to keep the fact that they were entirely reinventing the Castlevania franchise a secret, the title was initially announced as Lords of Shadow. In the end, this is the Castlevania game that did the best job of converting to 3D. Yes, the action-based fighting felt a little like God of War, and the game's climax was a little disappointing. But look at me, I'm whipping a vampire in high definition. Number 5. Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. The Nintendo DS features 3 Castlevania games, all of which are enjoyable, but Order of Ecclesia takes the top spot. Players assume the character of Shinoa, a lady who leads an organization tasked with bringing Dracula to justice after the Belmont family vanished. As a result, it's one of the series' few games without the iconic vampire killer whip. However, the controls were superb, and the boss battles were far more spectacular than one might anticipate from a mobile game. Number 4. Castlevania Rondo of Blood. In the United States, Rondo of Blood is arguably better known as Dracula X. The moniker Konami gave the SNES port of the Japanese TURBOGRAFX-16 game. The difficulty is that most serious fans regard Dracula X as a poor port, therefore Rondo remains the finest version of the game. Rondo of Blood, like Castlevania III, offered various paths, amazing level design, and some solid action-based fighting. Players took on the roles of Richter Belmont and Maria Belmont, his lover's sister. Number 3. Castlevania Arya of Sorrow. Although Castlevania has had a number of portable games over the years, Arya of Sorrow for the Game Boy Advance is still considered an all-time masterpiece. The game earns kudos for its original story, which stars Soma Cruz, an adolescent reincarnation of Dracula. Consider the possibility: a Dracula with acne and, most likely, a major authority issue. Arya of Shadow, on the other hand, is unusual in that it is set in the year 2035. Because to plot reasons, Cruz winds up in Dracula's castle. There, he learns that the original Dracula, who was defeated by Belmont and allies in 1999, is attempting to resurrect and intends to utilize Cruz's corpse as his vessel. Because the game is set in the future, there is a cool mix of historical and futuristic weapons. Fans had been yearning for a fitting spiritual successor to Symphony of the Night, and this was it. Number 2. Super Castlevania IV. What was it about the Super Nintendo that made it so popular? Super Castlevania IV, like A Link to the Past and Super Mario World, was a big step forward for the genre. When compared to NES games, the graphics were magnificent, the soundtrack was similarly amazing, and Simon Belmont's famed whip could now fight vampires in 8 different directions. Additional means to proceed through the stages included grappling and crouch walking. However, the story messaging was a little muddled, as the original developers regarded it a remake of the previous game, while Konami's American equivalents preferred to advertise it as a straight successor to Simon's Quest. Super Castlevania IV, on the other hand, increased the standard for what fans have come to anticipate from the franchise. Number 1. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night combined all of the best elements from the series' most popular prior games to create an ultimate masterpiece. Great controls and spectacular boss fights are combined with open-world exploration and RPG aspects, as well as the best platforming since Castlevania III in this game. You'd think that such a mashup would be difficult to keep up with, but the end result was revolutionary. Symphony is credited with coining the term Metroidvania, as it forces players to go back and forth between levels as they discover new abilities. The frosting on the cake is a fantastic music, superb level design, and a fantastic plot twist. Symphony of the Night, a direct successor to Rondo of Blood, didn't do so well in the United States when it was first launched, but time has been kind to it. Symphony of the Night is currently widely regarded as one of the greatest cult classics in video game history, if not the best video game ever made. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.